Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Nice to meet you. I don't think we've ever met face to face. I'm Tom.
Yeah.
Are we better looking than you thought? I'm Brian.
Well, I hadn't really thought about it.
You don't spend every week. Yeah.
Coach Jacobs, last season, your first year as head coach, you had a COVID testing related forfeit against your rival Valley Mills. You told us last year that your players really wanted to play that game. Well, they got the chance last week and they responded with a 45-7 win and the outright district championship. What takeaways do you have from that game, and how did your players fare in that game against Valley Mills?
Well, going into this ball game last week, our concern was Valley Mills is much improved over the course of a year. Even throughout this year, they've improved each week. They have a new staff, a new scheme, both offensively and defensively. And so they tempo the ball, which means that they snap the ball as many times as they can. They're very fast-paced offense. If you don't get lined up, you're going to look silly out there because of how fast they snap the ball. And so that was going to be a challenge for us because we really hadn't faced a tempo team all year. And they've been very successful in executing that type of offense. So going into the game, it was a challenge for our guys. How do we handle this situation? Are we prepared for it? And, I thought throughout the game, we handled it pretty well. They had planned to play fast, and we were able to do a pretty good job being able to handle that offense as far as the tempo of the offense was concerned. But going into this year's ball game with Valley Mills, of course, obviously last year we didn't get that opportunity to play. It was a disappointment to a number of our seniors, and that was unfortunate for those guys that have already graduated. But it was an opportunity. The proximity between the two schools are so close. We know a lot of the kids know each other very well, and hanging out together a lot and compete a lot against each other, both just not in just football, but other sports as well. So it was an opportunity for them to kind of get bragging rights, I guess, to Western McClendon County, and so I thought our kids went out and performed really well. They played hard. They executed well. They played with a lot of confidence. So very pleased.
Coach, you were talking about the tempo that Valley Mills plays with. I kind of immediately thought, I think it was the second round playoff game last year where you guys played Rivercrest, and how quickly they went. You obviously had a very successful postseason run last year. This is your second year now at the helm of this Crawford program. What's different about your approach for this playoff run, maybe compared to last year?
Well, I guess kind of knowing what to expect, the process that you have to go each week in preparation, not just preparation on the field, but off the field with other things that are involved, locating sites and arrangements and all that sort of thing. So it's just the paperwork and that sort of thing, I think is a little easier to understand and for me to follow. But the approach that we take, whether it was last year or this year, hasn't changed any at all. We take it day by day. And we learned that, I think, we learned a big lesson last year during COVID, because you're not promised anything tomorrow. You only promise today. And so we worry about what we can take care of today. Our practice, we're worried about today only. And then when tomorrow shows up, we'll be concerned about that. So week to week, we worry about one opponent, and that's it. And we've never talked about anything down the road. We talk about who we're preparing for this week and how well we're going to have to be prepared to be successful this week. So that's the biggest thing I've learned is just the process that surrounds the playoff situation and how to handle that. But as far as our kids, they haven't changed their mentality or their ideas concerning each week's preparation.
We're visiting with Crawford Pirates head coach Greg Jacobs. Hey, Coach, last question. I know you don't want to give us your detailed game plan, but tell our listeners what to expect from Dawson. What kind of club you dealing with tonight? What do they do well?
Well, I think Dawson, from the beginning of this year to now, it's really they've kind of suffered some frustrations. I think they've lost a number of players to injury, to grades. I think is caught up with them a little bit. So they're a little undermanned of what they were at the beginning of the year. They've changed basically their offense from the beginning of the year to now. They've kind of simplified it a little more. They're more of a 21 personnel, which is a one tight end type of offense, and try to establish the run game as much as they can. I think defensively, they're very consistent with an odd front early in the year, but I think they switched a little bit to a different concept, maybe a split defense some. A lot of that has to do with the makeup of the kids or what he has available. So I think they've dropped off a little from where they started due to all these injuries. So there'll be a challenge simply because they earned the right to be where they are, and so you never know what to expect for a fourth place team coming into a ball game. Obviously, they may throw something new at you, and you have to be prepared for that. But we fully think and expect to get the very best out of Dawson, both sides of the ball. They'll play hard. I know they have in the past, in the years that I've been around that group of kids in other sports. They're very competitive. They play very hard, and they're well coached. So we look forward to a tough physical ball game, and we'll see what happens.
Coach Jacobs, thank you very much for your time, and good luck tonight against Dawson.
All right. Thank you.